Yo, what's poppin', ladies and gentlemen? We are back again to try and put a little more extra dough in your bread box. Now, thank you for tuning in to another segment of Sportbook Buddy, where we look for the sharpest edge to help you take a stab against your sportsbook with. I'm Sports Dave. I put in the hard work necessary to make you knowledgeable, confident, and Vegas strong versus your sportsbook. I work with handicappers from all over to share our picks and analysis with you. I cover a handful of games, and we'll be giving out free picks with a breakdown of why each handicapper thinks their pick will have you cashing out a ticket at the end of the day. Today's segment is going to be all about college football games. And these are all games that are going down tomorrow. So with that said, I should note that today is Friday the 6th, 2019. And the games we're going to be covering are happening Saturday the 7th. So I'm trying to give you guys enough time to watch this video and put this information that you've obtained to good use in any way that you see fit. Now, before I jump into these college games, I want to real quick talk about yesterday's NFL season opener. And that was like a sequel of the Super Bowl that we just watched in February. And by that I mean, that was boring. I mean, my God, that was... what are the schedule makers thinking when they scheduled that matchup? I mean, for the first game of the season, they could have had a rematch of last year's Monday night game with the Rams and the Chiefs when they scored like 1,000 points. But instead, they want to go for their 100-year anniversary and give us a throwback rivalry game that seemed like we were watching something that was 100 years old when throwing forward passes was almost considered a trick play back in the day. And I'm not just complaining because I had my money on the Bears. I'm complaining as a football fan in general who doesn't want to watch a couple of punters duel it out for, who can have the better coffin corner kicks to pin their other team in their own territory. Honestly, the punters could have been considered the guys that got game balls yesterday. I mean, if you're a Packer fan, hey, I'm sure you're not complaining about the outcome. And if you bet on the Packers, hey, high five to you. But, that you just got to be honest with yourself. That just wasn't exciting football. Anyways, I just wanted to rant about that for a minute because that game was lame. And hopefully these college games that we're going to be watching tomorrow are not going to be quite as bad. In fact, I'm sure that they won't. So with that being said, I'm going to dive into these games. Please keep in mind that each of these games was picked by the handicappers individually, and I'll mention their names, and if you like the method to their madness, I would suggest following them a little bit more closely, and I'll be able to let you know how you can find them. Most of them you're going to start seeing pickmonitor.com, but also you can find some of them on Facebook and Twitter. So my buddy Nicholas DeLine, who you'll recognize as Sir Nick Picks on Facebook, has his sights set on a game between the Cincinnati Bearcats and the Ohio State Buckeyes. The total on this game is set at 53, and at least that's what it is with my own book. Some places it's gone as high as 55. Both defenses are expected to do their part according to Nick, and stay on the under at 53. Nick likes the Cincinnati defense and thinks it has a strong enough defense to put up a good fight. There's a 16-point spread for Ohio State right now, and Cincinnati last year, they ranked 8th nationally in points allowed per game. And now that the Urban Meyer regime is completely over, they're still working out the kinks with their new head coach, Ryan Day. So Nick sees a defensive struggle in store for this game, and he's going to put his war paint on tomorrow and scream for defense to handle their business on both sides of the ball. So take the under in this game, and if you want to follow more of Nick's picks, you can find him on Facebook under the page Sir Nick Picks. Now, this next game comes from way down under from my buddy from Australia, Mr. Craig Isles. Craig honed in on the Northern Illinois versus Utah game, and he's going to roll with the underdog in this game, taking the points at 20.5. Utah is laying 20.5 points, and Craig pointed out that Utah is 1-3 versus the spread in games after their defenses have allowed 15 points or less. Plus, Northern Utah does have a history of standing up to bigger conference schools, and Craig likes what the Northern Illinois defense brings to the table as well. So he's going to say ride with the 20.5 points, take them, and put the money in your pocket. You can follow Craig also on my Sportbook Buddy page. He also has his own called Kick Down the Corridor. He's got a very interesting method of handicapping games called the Dynasty method, where it gives all kinds of analytical data that dates back years. So it's probably best to learn from the artist himself, so I would recommend hitting him up if you want to follow Craig a little bit more. Next game we're going to be covering comes from my friend up in the north, up in Canada, my friend Matt Finley. He zeroed in on the Western Michigan versus Michigan State matchup as his game to follow. And Michigan State is favored by 16 points right now. And Matt thinks that this might be a trap game for Michigan State because they might be looking ahead to next week's matchup versus the Arizona State Sun Devils, who beat them last year. So they might be looking at revenge already and might be looking past Western Michigan, who's not a slouch. They are a strong mid-major school, and it's fair to assume that a lot of these kids that go to these mid-major schools, they've got a chip on their shoulder. You know, they probably dreamed of playing for Sparty or the Wolverines, and now they get a chance to show, you know, try and prove themselves against these D1 schools like Michigan State. So Matt really likes the points, plus 16 that Western Michigan's getting. So make sure to follow Matt Finley. Next up is my boy Del Warfield from Warfield Elite, who is loving the Arizona Razorbacks today against the Ole Miss running Rebels. Del's going to go ahead and gladly take the plus 6 that he's getting right now, and he's going to sprinkle a little bit of money on the money line as well at plus 197. Dell loves the Razorbacks because since they've joined the SEC, they've struggled to put a program together that can sustain itself in the SEC. But they've had a lot of time to build that organization up, and I believe that they've made themselves legitimate now. And they may not win the SEC conference, but the first test of the season goes down tomorrow in Mississippi. Now, Dell loves the focus on line movement, and he spotted some reverse line movement in this game as well. The running Rebels are getting a lot of the action, and the line went up to 7 in some places and went back down to 6, which kind of tells you where the house is putting their money, despite the fact that people are betting on the running Rebels. The line is actually going down. So on top of those things, Dell also thinks that the wrong team might be favored in this game. Ole Miss really struggled last week, and they didn't win. Actually, they lost to Memphis, and it could have been a much bigger blowout than it was. They lost 15-10 to Memphis, and so Dell just thinks that this is a overvalued Mississippi team and an undervalued Arkansas game. So make sure you hit up Dell Warfield of Warfield Elite. He likes to bet on second half plays too, so hit him up about that. My next play comes from Jesse Wansbro of Wansbro Investing. He's feeling the Wildcats for tomorrow's games, saying that Kentucky is going to cover that 15-point spread, especially after coming off of a solid victory over Toledo last week, who is projected to win the MAC. Eastern Michigan is projected to finish around 4th in that conference, who last week just eked out a win against Coastal Carolina. With Kentucky having a much better talent pool to recruit from, being that they're from the SEC, they should be able to impose their will and pull out this W by a healthy margin of points so that you're cashing a ticket at the end of the day by taking Kentucky minus 15. Now, if you want to follow more of Jesse's picks, make sure to contact him on Facebook on his page, Wansbro Investing. Next up is a Pac-12 matchup between the Cal Bears and Washington Huskies. My friend June Chang of Fade Familia is going to take the points in this game and ride with the Bears. Cal's defense has seen a turnaround under Coach Wilcox. The Bears only surrendered 7 points last week after giving up an early turnover in a short field. After that, the Bears really put the clamps down on the Aggies, and he thinks that this defense is going to come to play. They're going to be bringing a lot more than they have in the past to keep up with the Washington Huskies. Plus, there's about 70% of the action going in on the Huskies right now, and that's one of June's really big strong suits, as he likes to follow the line movement and where the action is going. So make sure to follow June Chang on Fade Familia. Anyways, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to go ahead and take a first half under in one of the early games with Michigan versus Army. I really like the under 25.5 in this game. Both teams have defenses that ranked in the top 15 last year. And I just think that, they're both going to have a hard time getting off the ball against each other. It's going to be a little bit of time before either team really starts to score. So I'm going to put on my war paint and scream defense for about an hour in the morning tomorrow. For me, it's 9 a.m. Anyways, I want you guys to know that that's all the picks for today, but we will be coming back with NFL picks for week 1. I want to thank all of my handicapper friends out there for the awesome breakdowns and the picks that they're giving out. And please ask all my viewers out there to please share my videos on Facebook and also subscribe to me on YouTube. And if you yourself are, you have a talent for picking winners and you like handicapping sports, please hit me up. First thing that you should do is go to pickmonitor.com and sign up for a free account so we can start tracking your picks, and we could take it from there. Basically, I'm going to be starting a whole new branch of what I'm doing with pickmonitor.com, and I want people out there that have a passion for sports to get on pickmonitor.com and just reach out to me as well so that we can start getting some sort of correspondence and maybe we can collaborate on getting you paid in this industry, because it's important that I'm able to put money in the pockets of the people that I work with. And so that's going to be the best way to do it, is get on to pickmonitor.com and we can get you started. So anyways, please stay tuned and good luck, guys.